Hello everyone and welcome to Target Focused Life. My name's Steve and today I'm taking a detailed and in-depth look at the Winchester SX4 20 gauge compact. Let's go. First, let's take a look at the selling point of the Winchester SX4 according to Winchester. The SX4 platform was built for speed, reliability, and easy handling. Now, this is no different on the 20 gauge compact. All we have it is in a smaller package. So we're gonna put that to the test today. I'm gonna give you my feedback, and there's lots of different points we're gonna go over through this video. So at any point, if there's something you wanna jump to, check the description below and just jump right to it. You don't have to listen to me blabber the whole time. Now, I picked this gun up for my son and daughter, 9 years old and 11 years old. What I really liked about it is that it is a smaller package. It's a lighter gun with a 24-inch barrel. And I know how light recoil the SX4 platform is. Shooting hundreds of thousands of rounds through the SX4, I know that most people that pick it up go, wow, that doesn't have a lot of recoil. So my hope for the kids and being able to shoot this gun is that it would be the same for them. They would be able to shoot, have fun, and not have a punishing experience out on the range. Let's take a dive into the specs. Looking at this gun, as I mentioned, it is a 20 gauge with a 24-inch barrel. It has a 3-inch chamber, so it can shoot 3-inch or 2 3/4. The SX4 20 gauge compact has a manufacturer's suggested retail of $829, putting it in that value-driven price range of semi-auto shotguns. It's also available in 26 and 28-inch barrel options as well. The length of pull of this gun is 13 inches, and that can also be increased using the spacers that come with the gun. So as the shooter grows, you can adjust the length of pull. It does not come with any shims, so you cannot adjust the drop at all or the cast of the shotgun. This gun comes in at 6.8 pounds, so it's on the lighter side. There's definitely lighter guns, but there's definitely a lot more heavy guns. I like the combination of this gun being light with the lighter recoil, which we're gonna test a little bit later on with my 9-year-old son, see what he thinks of the gun, give us a little of his feedback on how easy it is to shoot and what the recoil is like. So the SX4 has an Invector Plus choke system, comes with 3 chokes, flush mount chokes, improved cylinder, modified in full like most manufacturers. I've already screwed in my Carlson's choke tube cylinder, of course, for maximum clay crushing capabilities. This is a gas operated gun. So with the gas operated gun, and you'll see this when we tear down the gun and show you how easy it breaks down and goes back together, there is a piston. So it captures hot gases coming through the barrel, which forces the piston back, which pushes on another bar inside that helps push back the bolt. And that's how it operates. So because it captures the hot gases, it actually can reduce felt recoil versus an inertia system where you don't have that. The plus side of the inertia system is they generally operate a little bit cleaner, don't have as much maintenance, and they have less parts to take apart and get lost. So there's pros and cons of both systems. I'm not saying either one's right or wrong, but when I looked at getting a shotgun for my kids, recoil reduction was probably top of the list. We're gonna take a look at the trigger pull and see what that comes in at. Got my Wheeler professional digital trigger gauge. Better close the bolt first. We made sure it was empty. Put it right on there. 5.4 on the first one. 5 pounds, 4 ounces that is. We're gonna get an average. We're gonna do 3 pulls. 5.4 again. 5.2. So we come up with an average of 5 pounds, 3 ounces for the trigger pull, which is a fairly light trigger pull. I like a little bit lighter trigger pull. I like it definitely under 6 pounds if preferred, but the weight of the trigger pull is only one thing to look at. I also like to feel the trigger. There's not a lot of creep or travel in the trigger. It's pretty crisp. It's got a flat face to it, which I like. It is a rounded trigger, as you can see, but it has a flat face. So that allows me to get my finger on there. It feels really comfortable. Sometimes triggers are rounded faces, and your finger can kind of slip on that a little bit. So great trigger. Love the trigger. They did a great job with that. Next, I'm going to be taking a look at the ergonomics of the gun. This is the look, the feel, and the function of the shotgun. The ergonomics, I absolutely love the ergonomics of the Winchester SX4. The way it fits in the hands is absolutely phenomenal. Now, this black synthetic is hard, and it can be a little bit slippery if wet. But if dry out, there's really no issues with it. The controls of the SX4 I think really stand out, where you have this oversized bolt handle with serrations on it, super easy to pull back. You got the oversized, but not in the way, bolt release, super easy. And then you have a nice big safety on the back side of the trigger guard, super easy to find without looking. And then it also has an oversized trigger guard, giving you enough room to get your gloves in there if you're out late season doing any hunts or anything like that. It does have studs to mount a sling to it back on the stock and on the fore-end cap, so you could throw a sling on there. As far as balance, I always find that the SX4 is a well-balanced gun. Feels good to mount up into. Now this one doesn't fit me real well because of the short length of pull. Compact model again, of course, meant for that smaller frame shooter. The gun does have a raised rib. You can see the rib comes up slightly from the receiver here. I prefer a raised rib. It does have a fiber optic sight on it, which is great when you're practicing your mount, knowing that you're right on target. But after you have your mount down, you got that muscle memory, I'm ignoring that bead. Of course, we all know that you gotta be laser focused on that target. If you're not focused on the target, good luck hitting it. Ignore the bead. That's my top piece of advice for shotgun shooters. Ignore the bead, focus on your target. The gun is finished in matte black all the way around, and it has the Influx recoil pad, which we are gonna put to the test with my son just a little bit here when we start shooting. Now let's take a look at the build quality of this shotgun. Now I'm looking at this relative to price, right? I'm not gonna judge it the same I would a $1,500 or $1,600 shotgun. I think the build quality is pretty darn good for the money. There's a few things periodically with these SX4s, like there's a little lip there that you can catch your hand on. It's nothing big. Sometimes there can be just a little wiggle in the forearm, even when it's completely tightened down. Again, nothing big. It really doesn't affect the function all that much. It's ever so slight. It's what you would expect out of a gun at this price point. I think for the money, the build quality is actually fantastic. I know this gun very well. Very, very reliable gun, but I'm a little biased because I've shot this for many years, a lot of rounds, and you can tell I'm biased, can't you? So just for a preliminary test, before I get my son out here, I'm gonna do a few shots for recoil and reliability. I just like to take the gun up, mount it, shoot 3 shots. I've shot a lot more through this gun to make sure it works well, but as you can see, functions very well. And most importantly, the recoil is very light. Let's see if it works from the hip. That's always a test I like to run. Okay, why would I ever want to run it from the hip? Most people aren't going to shoot from the hip. You're absolutely right. But if a gun can operate from the hip, that's not the way it's meant to operate. If it cycles those shells still from the hip, that's an indication of reliability. There's certain other guns, especially like inertia guns with light target loads, shoot them from the hip, they have some trouble ejecting them. So I always love when a gun functions even when you're not shooting from the shoulder. Okay, let's just focus on recoil, close the eyes. Very light recoil impulse. Very soft shooting gun. Of course, it is a 20 gauge, but Winchester does a real nice job managing the recoil between the active valve gas system and the Influx recoil pad. Those are my thoughts, but let's see what my son thinks. Let's get him out here, have him hold this up, 9 years old, and see how it works for him. All right, I tracked my boy down. This is Rylan. How old are you, Ry?
9.
9 years old. He's gonna do some shotgun shooting with us. He's just got into shotgun shooting this year. And this is actually his shotgun that we're shooting today that I bought for him. He's gonna give us a couple shots, see if he can smoke a clay, and then give us feedback on the recoil. Sound good, Ry?
Yeah.
Okay, you're hot to trot.
Cool.
There we go. Nice shot. Way to go, dude. Busting clays with very little training, right?
Yep.
We're talking recoil, Rylan. That felt recoil against your shoulder, right?
Yep.
How did this gun feel?
Well, it's really light. So
The gun's light or the recoil's light?
the gun's a little heavy, but the recoil is pretty light, so it doesn't hurt you. You don't have to be scared or anything.
Yeah, that's pretty important, isn't it? Would you rather have a little heavier gun with lighter recoil or a little lighter gun with heavier recoil?
A little heavier recoil and lighter gun.
You'd rather have a lighter gun? So this,
That gun's pretty heavy, but I could get used to it too.
you could get used to it, yeah. There are some lighter guns on the market, but then they have a little heavy recoil, so sometimes it's that balance between weight and recoil. So the gun is a little bit big for Ryland. He can't shoot large volumes, but that's not really the goal out here today. We want to be able to get him out and shoot and have some fun and make it enjoyable. So you're crushing clays already, man. I love it. Hey, guess what? When I was your age, I wasn't even as good as you. Keep practicing, you'll be able to whoop up on your daddy someday.
Maybe.
Thanks for joining us, Rye.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at how this SX4 breaks down for cleaning and maintenance. Of course, we've checked the gun for clear. We're safe, good to go, closing the bolt. Just like almost every shotgun, you take the fore-end cap off first. That's off. Forearm off. Barrel off. Then we have the piston, the spring, and if you look right here on this magazine tube, you see there's carbon buildup already. This was clean when we started doing this video this morning. That's what you get in gas guns, a little bit dirtier operation. Now, here is the challenge with this gun. We have to pop off these 2 pins. That's not a big challenge unless they're really stiff. Sometimes a little extra help is needed. Pull the pins, that's out. Now, trigger group comes out. Now here's a little trick with this gun. If you're trying to take it apart, you're trying to take the bolt handle off, it doesn't want to come. On the bottom side of the bolt, there's this little metal piece, which will probably be kind of challenging to see. So you actually have to take a little pressure off, push that metal piece down. That allows the bolt to slide forward, allows the bolt handle to come out. There's a better look of it. Here's this piece I'm talking about right here. Has to be pushed down. Now the gun's broken apart, ready to clean, maintain. By the way, would you like to see me do a cleaning video on how to properly clean a shotgun? We got a few tricks up our sleeves over the years of cleaning shotguns. Let me know in the comments down below. Put this bad boy back together. It's basically the exact opposite. Now with this, you have this tail on the back of the bolt. There's the plunger inside the gun that it has to fit into. Okay, now we go to put the bolt handle back on, and we got to make sure that metal piece on the bottom of the bolt, otherwise the bolt handle just falls out. Back on the spring, back on this. And as we're talking about gas guns, what ends up happening is there's 2 ports in the bottom of the barrel here. As you shoot your shot and you have all this pressure and gas buildup going down your barrel, some of those gases escape, going into the piston and forcing it back. As the piston comes back, it forces this arm back, which forces the bolt back and gives it a little bit of energy to help start that recoil process. That back on, fore-end cap back on, and then put the trigger group back in. Now some guns out there only have 1 pin to put in. I kind of like those. Pins always go in a little bit easier. And just like that, it's back together. Now let's head back and check it out for speed shooting. For the speed test, I'm shooting the Federal Top Gun 7/8 ounce loads. 3 clays on the timer. From when the timer goes off, how fast can I throw them out, get on target, shoot? It's gonna be a little challenging because this is a compact gun. It's too small for me. What the heck? Let's just make it up as we go. 143. Not a bad start to the day. Didn't really even get my head on the gun, but hey, who needs to have their head down? 128, a little bit faster. 128. See if we can get a little faster. I think I can. 123, 123. Hey, tell you what, that's a fast little shooting gun. Could probably have gotten a little faster if I could work on my mount times. It took me 0.88 seconds from the time the buzzer went off to when I got on target. But then I ran a 0.17 split. Then I ran a 0.18 split and a 0.17 split for a total time of 1.23. I love the light recoil. I love how fast it shoots. Prefer it in a full-size model, but for smaller frame shooters, youth, women, this is absolutely a fantastic gun for the money. Highly recommend checking it out. It is the Winchester SX4 20 gauge compact. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Remember, it's only the shots that you're focused on, whether you're in the field or in life, that you're gonna hit. So live target focused. See ya.